I know you gonna dig this.
I'm outside in an AMG, right outside, TT.
Twin Talk Podcast.
I'm having... Had to turn the fan off and shut the door. I'm having a day. I'm feeling really, really good. I'm feeling very motivated about everything that I want to do. I've gotten a couple good things done. I'm really happy. But the one thing that I want to complain about this so badly. I don't like when people... Let me open my beer and relax. I don't like when people respond to what they think I'm trying to say instead of what I literally am saying. Like, I'm sorry, Tomas, I gotta use you, bro. Love my homie Tomas, but he does this so often, and it's at the point where I'm like, all right, I have to have a talk with you about, please stop doing this. It's usually this one situation where I'll ask, what you doing? We'll just be talking, I'll say, hey, what you doing? And instead of just saying, here's what I'm doing, and then moving on with the conversation, he'll go, I can't hang out today. Let's try to hang out Friday. And this is what he said this time. I saw him like 2 days ago, and we said, let's link back up on Friday. See you in a couple days, bro. And so right now, when I ask him, what are you doing? And he responds with, I'm just, what'd he say? He said, let's kick it tomorrow. About to try and paint something in a little bit. I don't like, he answers the question. I'm about to paint in a little bit. But that's all I wanted. Let's hang out tomorrow. I'm not asking you to hang out. I'm just asking what you're doing because I'm curious about you. Because I care about you. Because I'm going to ask, are you having fun? What you painting? I just want to talk. But when I ask a question and people assume where I'm going to go and they try to answer what they think is coming, I just stop talking. Because I don't want to sit there and correct you and now I feel awkward or you feel like I'm coming down on you and you feel awkward. It's stuff that I don't like. I don't like assumptions. I'm fine with assumptions if the assumption comes along with how should I put it? I don't know how to put it. Oh, okay. I was trying to fix how the moment with Tomas happened and what would have made me not feel any kind of way about it. But it's hard for me to figure it out because I don't do that situation. It's weird to me. What I'll do is I'll assume something about someone and then immediately after the assumption it comes along with, am I right about that? Is that in the right direction? Tell me what I'm getting wrong. There's an understanding that I don't fucking know you and I can't just assume on you. And it frustrates me that other people do this so often. You can assume, you can say whatever you want, but just say the whole breadth of things that would need to be said for anyone to realize, oh, we're just talking about things. You're not assuming on me. You're not acting like you know me or something. We're just talking, and it's just it makes me so frustrated. So, all right, now that that's off from my mind, the only thing that I really wanted to talk about, because I once again I don't have a finished art piece to show off and talk about. I mean, I do, but it's not one I really care to talk about too much. There's this social media influencer kid who went viral and just been popping off from just making cute little reels where he rhymes into the camera, kind of says what he's doing today, talks a lot about video games, and then dips out. And no one gets to decide what becomes popular. Things hit or they don't hit. Things hit or they don't hit. Who knows? I found this kid at 2,000 followers, and now he's crossing 100,000 followers. And he's literally, he's almost literally not doing anything. And I think it's hella interesting. But he was talking about making merch and asked people from his reels, hey, who has some ideas? 1 second. The dog is here. Go. he was asking for merch ideas from people who were watching his reels, and I thought, I love when somebody is like asking for merch or asking for some art. I don't know why I don't like when somebody pays me for art and then like I'm expected to deliver on how they feel. I love getting a feeling, creating something, and hoping that it works for what that person wants. And so when he was asking for merch, I immediately thought, oh yeah, that motivates me to draw something. I really want to draw something now, and I started scanning through the comments, started saying like, because I'll follow a lot of people, but I won't get deep into the lore of a lot of things because I got my own life. I don't need to sit on somebody's live and just like watch them do nothing for 4 hours to pick up what the lore is. I don't need it. I don't need it. The things that I will gather the lore for, what I and like the things I'll gather a fandom lore for, they have to work in with my schedule and how I'm moving and how like what I'm doing. I'm not going out of my way to watch H3 for 5 hours. There's some podcasts I really love that I've been watching for years, and I'm starting to fall off those because it's just like, you guys aren't convenient. And after a while, you can start predicting what anyone's gonna say, and it gets a little boring for me. Happened with Joe Rogan, happened with Adam Carolla, happened with Theo Vaughn, actually, I'm just naming comedians at this point with podcasts. Comedian podcasts definitely get like that after a while because when you talk for a living, how much more do you have to say on a podcast, you know? Anyways, I'm going through the comments because I'm thinking like, all right, I don't give a fuck that deeply. I don't give a fuck to like memorize lore, but in these comments are going to be a ton of people who have like a lot of feelings and a lot of they'll remember some really great reels he had that I never saw. And one reel caught my attention, or one comment caught my attention about a reel. He said in one reel he said, "I'm geeked off my yipper," and I found like 50 comments of people just saying, "You gotta make a shirt off I'm geeked off my yipper. You gotta make a shirt off I'm geeked off my yipper," and so I ran with that. I was posting it on my stories, tagging him. I was doing that thing where you tag somebody but you don't let their name be seen, because I don't need to I don't need to look like some kind of fan unless he wants to buy this from me. So I post the picture, it's got a white background. I put his @ name in there, but I make it white and I put it on the white background so you can't see it, because it's like I want you to know that I posted this. You'll get the notification that it's there, but we don't need to be all out and open with it unless you actually want this design. And he told me, he sent a comment to my messages that said, "Love, love, love," and I thought, all right, maybe this will be a. He says he likes it, but liking it is way different from wanting to use it for anything. And since then, he's opened my messages one more time when I asked him if he's found any merch, and that he should like post this as a poll and consider using it for merch. And he has not replied to that. But he's also not talked about any merch. But he's also liked the messages where I said like, post this. So hey, everyone's got weird communication styles on the internet, and the big thing that I try to tell my friends this when they're telling me problems that they're dealing with through text messages. I try to tell this to people that I'm like that I get into arguments with on the internet. You can't assume how anyone feels unless they tell you. No rule is black and white, but generally, if you want something from somebody, don't assume how they feel until they tell you. Because I'm getting in all these fights with like girls I'm talking to. This is like past up until now. I've gotten into fights with girls I'm talking to, fights with my brother or my mom, fights with just friends, because everyone's assuming what your tone is in a text message. And so it makes me so angry that we don't, as a society, collectively go, hey, we all know that text is not as efficient as talking to somebody. Voice inflection is gone, pacing of speech is gone. Everything. You can't understand tone or nothing. So why does everybody feel so justified in just going off of text messages? Me and my brother would have all these fights about our relationship, and I would try to call him to just talk, and he would never want to pick up. He would hang up constantly, because the way I'm seeing him is that for him, it's like, it's easy to just text and just be angry, and I don't want to give you the satisfaction of looking at my face and being able to just talk to me rationally. Also, I might be a little embarrassed about some of the things I've done, and I don't want to look you in the face. I kind of want to just keep this clinical and separated. And I think it's just, if I ever want to prove to somebody why humans are so fucking weak and why we're really a sad, pitiful little creature that really is just kind of disturbing emotionally, text messages are one of the main reasons. People don't want to have their worldview rocked past what they already want it to be. It's fucking gross, and we're all fucking gross for it. I'm in it. Everyone's in it. A lot of times, the last few months, last year, when I get text messages, I'm trying to answer them immediately. When I'm talking to a girl and I'm like, oh, I'm so nervous about what she's gonna say, I smack myself. I smack myself mentally and I go, stop it. You don't know what she's saying until she says it. Open the message immediately. Don't wait 5 minutes. Don't wait 10 minutes. Don't be nervous to open. Just go. Just open it. Go. Deal with it now. Go. And even when I practice that, I'm still a bitch made, pitiable little human. And I just, I hate it so much. But speaking about pitiful humans, the only other thing that I really cared to talk about at all, the only thing I cared to really talk about at all was O.J. Simpson died, man. O.J. Simpy died. Let's get the correct reason for death real quick. I know it's cancer, but let's get some specifics. I'm at Google. O.J. Simpson. I can just type his name in and hit news. News. Do it on CNN. Do it on NPR. I'll take NPR. Because NPR is the way I see it, they're the most middle ground of anything that I'm looking at here. All right. And this is for anybody listening. It's funny though, how fucked up we are as people that we only read headlines. For anyone here listening right now, I can bet with almost 100% surety that I'm about to give you more info on OJ than you knew at all. You probably just know he died, and you probably just seen a bunch of memes about him murdering his wife. And then you never went to go look up anything else. And I just think we're interesting for that. We're all just running with headlines all day, every day. And it's so much so that when I talk to my friends about news, I'll start by saying, if I have a story I want to talk about, I'll start by going, oh yeah, I know, I just read the Instagram headline of that. I have to go in and read an article at some point. Oh yeah, I just saw the heading, but there's more information. I gotta go find that out. And I try to be very clear about that because I don't want myself to get comfortable relaying info that I haven't actually looked into. So let's look into a little bit of OJ. Let's see if there's any important points in this. Also, let me make sure this is still recording because I hate when that happens. Oh God. What does it say? 1330, 1334, 1335. All right, let's just. It's still playing. O.J. Simpson, football legend, acquitted of notorious killings, dies at 76. The football great Orenthal James Simpson, known as O.J., who was accused and ultimately acquitted in the killings of his ex-wife and her friend, has died. Simpson was 76. In a post on X, his family said he died on Wednesday. He succumbed to his battle with cancer and was surrounded by his children and grandchildren. Remember that. Remember that he was surrounded by his children and grandchildren. I want to talk about that in a second. Simpson was a cultural icon who started in the football field, the movies, and a friend, Ronald. He killed Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. In 1995, jurors determined he was not guilty of the stabbing deaths. No one else was ever charged. Dubbed the trial of the century, the nationally televised proceedings captivated the country with a verdict that reverberated across the U.S. with debates about police misconduct, race, and somebody domestic abuse. To be clear, for anyone who doesn't know, O.J. wasn't. What do they say? In this article, they say jurors determined he was not guilty. That's very important because I see a lot of people say that he was innocent or he was found innocent. He was not found innocent. In court, the thing I'm about to say to me is so obvious that I feel stupid saying it, but I keep remembering, like, I keep reminding myself, Ian, you're a 33-year-old man in 2024. There's people behind you that don't know any of this stuff. It's worth repeating again. It's always worth repeating again. You know repetition is important, so just shut up and just say it because it is deeply important. But here's the thing. OJ was never... trying to find my spot while I make sure this is still recording. OJ was never found innocent. He was found not guilty. Because in court, it's not about a jury determining who's innocent, who's guilty. It's looking at the facts and determining, is there enough here for us to charge somebody? Are these facts compelling enough that it can make... that it's beyond a reasonable doubt that this person did what they're accused of? And a lot of people who will end up being who will end up beating cases, they beat cases because they bring up the questionability of the evidence. They throw enough questions out there, or they throw enough cross-reference data out there that make the jurors go, well, is that evidence really ironclad? Well, couldn't somebody else have been there? Well, maybe somebody stole their move. Like, the more reasonable doubt your defense lawyer can put into a case, the more likely you're gonna walk away, because our system errs on the side of we should not put somebody in jail unless we can prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Imagine what it's like in the Salem witch trials. They would just go, oh, she can read, kill her. Oh, she knows how to swim, push her head below the water. Like, thank God we're at a place where we sit around and we try to reason. Now, that sounds great the way I just said it, but this system also allows for people to do a lot of funny business with evidence and things like that, and get people off who should be in jail, or put people in jail who definitely should have gotten off because they were ignorant of the system. So they inadvertently help the police put them away by, there's so many fucked up ways that this stuff gets broken down. But OJ, I just need to make sure I said that about OJ, because a lot of people will argue about OJ and they'll be like, still let it go. He's innocent now. He beat the case. No. He did that shit. There's never been any other person brought up as a suspect. There's never been anyone else charged. He did that shit. His blood was at the scene. His fingerprints were at the scene. He did that shit. But okay, wait, all right. That was a little divergence, but let's see if there's anything else important in here, and then we'll be done. Let's read the official tweet. On April 10th, our father, Orenthal James Simpson, succumbed to his battle with cancer. He is surrounded by his children and grandchildren. During this time of transition, his family asks that you please respect their wishes for privacy and grace. No one gives a fuck, because he was a horrible man. O.J. Simpson first found fame in the football field. Once a kid who wore leg braces until 5, developing rickets, Simpson went on to become one of the greatest running backs of all time. After graduating, he played 11 seasons in the NFL. During and after his pro career, and in 1979, he started TV commercials. In 1994, the bodies of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown, and her friend, Ronald Goldman, were found stabbed outside her home in Los Angeles. Did someone just knock? Oh, that's the cat. Hi, kitty baby. It sounded like you knocked, man. Where'd you get fists from? In 1994, the bodies of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ronald Goldman, were found stabbed outside her home in Los Angeles. Not long after, Simpson was arrested, and his subsequent low-speed white Bronco car chase on LA freeways was televised nationwide. Some 95 million people tuned into the chase coverage. In 1995, a criminal jury determined he was not guilty of committing the killings. The most famous moment of the months-long trial was when a prosecutor asked O.J. to try on the gloves. In a dramatic showing, O.J. struggled to pull on the snug pair. Defense lawyer Johnny Cochran killed it, seized on this, delivering the most famous line of the whole spectacle in his closing argument. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. Now, once again, for all the people that are too young to maybe have seen this stuff, I was too young to see it, but I've watched these videos a ton of times because over the years there's been documentaries, YouTubers have made things. It would be weird if it well nah. You should go on YouTube right now and you should type in the words. You should type in the words. O.J. Simpson tries on glove at trial, and when he tries that glove on, you're gonna laugh because what's happening is he's wearing a white rubber glove. The reason he's wearing a white ooh, that was a really good fart. I wish the homies were here to hear that. That was an 8 or 9 caliber. God damn. He's wearing a white rubber glove when he's trying on the glove at trial. And the reason he's wearing a white rubber glove is because the glove is now evidence. And they don't want it to get contaminated with new fingerprints or anything, you know? So part of it is like, oh, okay, we get it. He had to wear white gloves because this is what we do with evidence. But another part of it is like, we all need to be adults and go, hey, who wears 2 pairs of gloves at one time? Nobody, right? Tell this motherfucker to take the white gloves off and then try the leather glove on. What are we doing? Why are we sitting here watching OJ pretend like he's not able to put on a pair of gloves? When you see this video on YouTube, it's OJ with his head. He's putting the glove on his hand. He's putting the leather glove on his rubber gloved hand. And he's spreading his fingers out wide and making it hard for him to put the whole thing on. And there's so many times where I look at life and I go, I can't be in real life right now. Or if this isn't real life, what would real life even be? A room full of people is watching a murderer pretend to not be able to put on a pair of gloves. The lawyer steps up and says, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. And people just go, damn, good argument. I'm 33 now. How old was OJ when this all happened? How old was OJ during his trial? OJ was around, he was in his early to mid 30s. So OJ was around the age I am now. When I was younger, I would see adults do dumb things, and I would go, there must be a reason for it. And then I got older, and I thought like, oh, I'm not dumb. I would never let these dumb things pass. So okay, the adults above me and all my friends, they're actually dumb, and when we get up there, we'll make decisions that like they probably would never have made because they're too dumb. We won't make the mistakes they made because who could be that dumb? And now I'm at the age, and I look around, and I'm watching friends turn into their parents that they hate. I'm watching people become religious zealots. I'm watching people start to become conservative and hate immigrants. Like, it's like, whoa. The world, you have to get with the idea and the understanding that everyone is just dumb. To sit in a fucking courtroom with a murderer whose DNA and blood is at the scene and he's pretending to not be able to put a glove on is so fucking like, I'm at this point I'm just putting emphasis on it. It doesn't make sense. And now that I'm 33, I'm looking around going, wow, I could see how all of you motherfuckers would let that happen and then just move on with it. Because there's other versions of OJ's glove happening all the time in social media, every day. We are such a stupid society. We are so aggressively stupid that's kind of the only conversation that needs to happen when we talk about like how to save the world or why the world is bad. We are aggressively stupid. If you can't start there, if you can't be okay with that, you don't even need to like have any sort of levers of power. If I was president, that would be like one of my State of the Union addresses would be like, you American people, you have to have an appreciation for how aggressively stupid you are. It hurts in my chest. So, my whole thing with OJ, let's see what, a homie just hit me. 1 second, let me see what's going on. My whole thing with OJ, and the reason that I wanted to say, remember the part where they said he was surrounded by his children and grandchildren when he succumbed to cancer. Me and my friends talk a lot about, or I talk a lot about death, and I bring them into it. And there was one time where we sat, and we had a talk about like a death list. We made up the top five worst ways to die, bar none. Number one, I think, was burning, and I think we got caught. We got caught in trying to decide, is burning worse than drowning? And I would say burning is way worse than drowning. But I'd have to like go back to the list and like redo it because I kind of forgot how it goes. But one thing that I kept bringing up, and that I keep bringing up to anybody that I talk about death with, is like, how do you think you're gonna die? How do you wish you die? And then what's the best type of death do you think? And I think the best type of death is to slowly drift away in a hospital bed, surrounded by your friends and family, surrounded by your legacy, surrounded by the people that care about you. And I think that life is a disturbingly unfair. What do we call it? It's just disturbingly unfair, brutal, no fucks given, might makes right kind of world outside of our human framework. And if you can find a way to die in a peaceful, I'm just gonna drift away in a bed sort of way, you won the biggest lottery. You won the biggest lottery because one of the scariest things is the fear of the unknown, and having to die is the ultimate unknown. We're all terrified of it, and I hate when I hear people who are like, "I'm at peace with it. It's no big deal." You're not at peace with it. You're having a moment where you've rationalized it to be peaceful. But I swear to God, if we sat down for a little while and all we did was talk about death and ate some mushrooms, you're gonna have a little bitty freak out, just like the rest of us. So I have to turn this off in a second. There's somebody else in the house that's talking, and they're yelling so loud that I can hear them through the walls, and it's throwing me off. I don't remember what I was gonna say. I don't remember what my points were. So like, I'm just gonna try to wrap this up. My point was that it is a blessing from the universe to be able to die in the most peaceful way possible. When you look around at the animal kingdom and you see like antelopes being ripped out of their mother's womb before they've even been able to touch ground and they're getting eaten by lions, that's how most things are dealing with life and death. We get to sit here and just chill. And so I saw my mom and she was like, "Hey, OJ died." And I went, "Yeah, pretty lucky." And she went, "What?" And when she saw me again, she went, "You said OJ's lucky?" And I said, "Well, he's like lucky for how he got to end it. And he's lucky for the life that he got to live. Not because his life was a good thing, but the hardest parts of life are transgressing upon on other people, treating other people badly, making mistakes, hurting people, and having to look in the mirror and really reflect on that and really change as a person and really own up to how you've acted and what you've said and what you've done." And OJ never, as far like, hey, maybe somebody who's like a big OJ stan, remember what I said about like knowing all the lore? I don't know every bit of OJ lore. I know the beats. And from what I've seen, OJ never once in his life had to stop and reflect and really look in the mirror and go, "Damn, I'm really OJ." He got a football scholarship, and that's a blessing, especially in the year he did it. So much racism and bigotry and shit. He became one of the greatest football players ever known. Millions of dollars. Left that, did commercials, millions of dollars, movies, got to kick it, got to be a cultural icon. Killed a woman and her significant other that he was apparently being cheated on with. And all the cops treated him like the GOAT when they brought him in. He fucking got like, if you watch the videos of these trials, he's like the Black Donald Trump in these trials. Like, he's not taking it seriously. He's like waving to the people. He doesn't seem like he understands the consequences of what's going on at all. Or he understands the consequences, but he doesn't think anything's actually going to happen to him. And it's to have that sort of like calm demeanor under such duress really, to me, points out somebody that's living in a fantasy wonderland. And then to leave that and write a book called If I Did It, the The arrogance, the comfortability, the no fucks it takes to do something like that is unbelievable. And you could never, just those few points I've already said, you could never make me think that OJ ever had a true growing moment in his life. I think he was always just going by his programming and going by like just the luck he got in his life informed his confirmation bias, and he probably had a good old time just living in his myopic haze of a fantasy world. OJ, let me make sure OJ said this, because I hear this and I for some reason my mind is telling me, no, Ian, OJ didn't say that. It's not Berenstain Bears, it's Berenstein Bear. Like, I'm having a moment like that. 1 second. Just wait 5 seconds, let me type. Yeah. OJ Simpson often said, I'm not black, I'm OJ. And if anybody had said that wasn't OJ, I'd go, thank you. Yeah, you're not black. You're who you are. You're your actions. You're your feelings. You're the things you say. You're not your skin color. You're not black. You are OJ. But when OJ says it, the murderer, the guy who's lived in the 1% for like almost his entire life, the lucky scholarship dude, when he says I'm not black, I'm OJ, to me that's him separating himself from the people that he's around in his time. I can be sort of dismissive of race because the culture in this time allows that for me. OJ was allowed to be dismissive of race because he's rich. And I just think that fucked his perspective up. I don't think he ever really stopped to have much empathy for anyone else besides himself. And so when I say OJ's lucky, I'm saying he got to live high on the hog. He got to be a cultural icon. He got to make millions of dollars. He got to flaunt in the face of justice. He finally got caught for something, and took a few years. Chalk it up to the fact that you got away with murder. And then he got to come out and be a meme and just be an internet icon for a while and just kick it and play golf with rich people and relax. And then he died. People work all their lives to have a beautiful death. OJ didn't. He just got to have it. He got to fuck around, kill somebody, be rich, fuck around, and die happy, rich, comfortable, surrounded by family and friends after killing somebody, after killing 2 people. So when I say lucky, or when I say OJ's lucky, what I mean is that he just never had to look in the mirror. He never had to take the big step back and go, let me really take account for myself. And we should pity people like that because it makes weak people, but he already did everything. He's already crossed the finish line in a comfortable fashion. He got to relax and slowly die in a comfortable fashion. He won. He won in every way. How many people out there have seen their significant other cheated on them and they've thought, I'm gonna fucking kill that motherfucker. And then they don't. They don't get to kill them. They don't get to really talk about it or anything. They don't get to fight anybody. Nobody pays respect to them for the shit that happened to them. That you just get cheated on and just have to deal with it. OJ got cheated on and they he got to let his most intrusive thoughts win. He got to let his most intrusive thoughts come out and go, I'm gonna fucking kill this bitch. And then he just got away with it. I'm not saying that I want to get away with murder. I'm just saying he's lucky. He never truly had to own up to anything. And you can have all these remarks about what kind of life are you living if there's no strife or if there's no real reconciliation or if there's no real sort of hero's journey. But also, if a pig in a farm just gets to eat slop all day and lay in mud and be fat and scratch his back on a fence post and then just killed quick and made into pork chops, was that a horrible life? OJ was just fat and high on the hog for fucking 50, 60 years. And then just got to kick it. and dip. I just think this is really profound. Because people will always tell you, like, cheaters never win. You have to be honest and do this and that. And, like, anybody who wants this and that, you always have to work for anything you want in your life. No. I always tell people, no, you don't. I can look around at everything happening in life and I can clearly see there are cheaters prospering. There are bad people who are winning. There are horrible, warmongering, genocidal freaks that die comfortably in their bed, while little kids get treated like the antelope in the National Geographic documentary that's getting like pulled out of the womb and eaten before it can take a breath. The idea that there's meritocracy in life and that life is any level of fair, is one of the biggest cons that we have in society. And the reason it persists is because successful people need to feel like they're there for a reason. There's so many different ways to unpack why life doesn't make any sense, and one of the biggest ways to unpack why life doesn't make any sense is being rich. You find any quote unquote regular person that becomes rich, they'll tell you, as soon as I had enough money to pay my bills, as soon as I had enough money to like stop counting the zeros in my bank account, the weight that's lifted off of your shoulders is a feeling that cannot be compared to anything. And then you start looking around, you start going, wow, I can pay for this to make my life better. Wow, I can buy this and it's better for my kids. Wow, I can just, I don't like what's happening here, I can just pay for it. And you realize, oh my God, rich people aren't better than poor people. They just have more room to fail. They have more room and more means to fail. And when they realize that, I don't know. Some people have to consciously think this, and some people will subconsciously think this. They'll go, "Oh man, if I feel like life is like fake and meritocracy isn't real, and a lot of this is just about luck, then oh my God, I have to look at myself and I have to realize I'm not so great. And oh my God, then I should probably do something because I have the means to do something." And the brain protects you from having all those different calculations. But you need to realize none of this shit is fair. None of this shit is meritocratic in any way. In any way. Life is a luck game. If somebody wants to come up to me and say, Ian, life isn't just a luck game because I was depressed and then I got out of my depression and I picked myself up and I did something. You're lucky that your depression only took you but so far and didn't take you to suicide. You're lucky that you have family or friends or somebody that helped you get out of there. Every aspect of human life, luck is one of the biggest factors. And that is never, me saying that doesn't mean you should sit back and let luck take the wheel. Luck sweeps in more when you're already doing something for yourself. It's literally that idea of like when people, if your car is broken down on the road and you're just sitting there, people will pass you. But if your car is broken down on the side of the road and you're pushing your car, people will come out and they'll help you. If you wanna look at luck as some kind of an entity, luck wants to see you doing for yourself, and then because you're out there moving around in the world, you're coming into contact with luck even more times, and something will hit, or something won't hit because life isn't fair, but it's more likely to hit when you're out there moving, acting, doing for self. Or you could be like OJ and just kind of get carried through life off of your football and commercial career. Life is a joke. Nothing's fair. Do whatever you want. Be honest. Get out there. Don't give a fuck. Your morals are only as strong as the circumstances are weak. Every time. Every time. So, that's about that. If I have anything else to say, because OJ died, we need to remember that his killer, the killer of his wife, he's at large. That guy's out there. And, now that OJ's actually dead, we should really get on trying to find who killed his wife. Because that's really fucked up. It's really fucked up. I love you. And, I don't know. Have a good time. Bye.